ECOWAS begs Ibrahim Traoré to abandon AES and come back. What happens when the same group that punished you, threatened you, and cut you off, suddenly starts asking you to please come back? That's exactly what's happening right now in West Africa. Just a short while ago, the leaders of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger were being condemned. Now, leaders across ECOWAS are making public calls for Captain Ibrahim Traoré and the Alliance of Sahel states to forget their new confederation and return to the family. Is this a sincere call for unity from a group that feels broken? Or is it a calculated move by a legacy power trying to regain control of a revolution it can no longer contain? The very future of West Africa might just hang on that question. This is a story about a massive power shift, a fight for real sovereignty, and the rise of a new, more assertive Africa. Before we get into it, welcome to our channel. We focus on the stories that truly matter for the continent. The narratives about strength, sovereignty, and African solutions to African problems. If that's a vision you share, take a second to subscribe and hit the notification bell. You'll be joining a community that's watching history as it happens. To really get how significant this moment is, you have to understand the deep rift that led to it. This split wasn't some rash decision. It was the result of years of frustration, a feeling that ECOWAS had just lost its way. For the people in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, the biggest threat to their existence was, and still is, the non-stop wave of terrorism that has killed thousands and torn entire regions apart. They looked to ECOWAS, an organization built on the idea of collective security, to do something decisive. Instead, they felt they got lectures, political games, and sanctions that hurt ordinary people who were already suffering. The final straw for many was when ECOWAS threatened to send troops into Niger. Not to fight the common enemy, but to potentially fight a brother nation. This pushed the Sahelian leaders to make a historic choice. On January 28, 2024, they announced they were leaving ECOWAS. Under the treaty, this withdrawal becomes fully effective a year later, on January 29, 2025. They said it wasn't an act of division, but one of survival and taking back their sovereignty. They argued that ECOWAS had become a vehicle for outside interests, forgetting the Pan-African ideals it was founded on. But they didn't just leave, they started building something new. They formed the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, which wasn't just a military pact but the beginning of a full-blown confederation. It was a signal that they had a new vision for West Africa, one based on defending each other and deciding their own future. For months after the announcement, ECOWAS seemed confident, acting like the breakaway states would have no choice but to come back. That confidence is fading, and the tone has completely changed. Now, calls for reconciliation are coming from all over the bloc, showing just how shaken the organization is. You have elder statesmen like General Yakubu Gowon, the last living founder of ECOWAS, who wrote an emotional open letter. He pleaded with current leaders to lift all sanctions and do whatever it takes to bring the three nations back. He even suggested that if they can't come back as separate countries, ECOWAS should be ready to welcome them as a single, unified group, basically acknowledging the new reality of the AES. Then you have current military and political leaders within ECOWAS who are now openly saying they need the Sahel states. Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, said that their return was essential to defeat the insurgency, admitting that the fight requires regional unity. This is a huge shift from threatening an invasion to admitting they depend on each other. Diplomatic efforts are also underway. Ghana's president has pushed for dialogue, and the ECOWAS parliament has sent a clear message. Parliamentarians have said publicly, "We want you back. Let us come together as a team. No matter what, we agree to disagree." This wave of appeals shows that ECOWAS is facing a crisis. The bloc that was once the main power in the region is now publicly asking for the return of the members it drove away. So how have Captain Ibrahim Traoré and the other AES leaders reacted to all this? With a determined silence and a clear message, their path is set. Captain Traoré has said their move is a point of no return. In a recent interview, he was crystal clear, saying the chains they are breaking are broken forever and there is no going back to ECOWAS. This isn't just talk. While ECOWAS is trying to figure out how to bring them back, the AES is busy building its future. They have officially formed their confederation, are creating a joint biometric passport for free movement, and have even launched a joint media channel. They're proving their vision of integration is happening now. Their conditions for any future talks are game-changing. They demand the right to choose their own governments without outside meddling. And, most importantly, they've made it clear that if they ever re-engage with ECOWAS, it will be as one, unified bloc. This is a brilliant strategic move. It stops ECOWAS from trying to divide them and forces the bloc to see the AES as an equal. This firm position is gaining influence. Togo has shown interest in joining the AES, a move that would give the landlocked alliance a vital path to the sea. The AES has completely flipped the script. They aren't asking for a seat at the table anymore, they're building their own and setting the terms for anyone who wants to join them. This standoff has put West Africa at a major crossroads. The future of regional cooperation, security, and the economy is all on the line. ECOWAS argues that by leaving, the AES nations are isolating themselves and throwing away decades of economic progress built on a common market and free movement. They warn that splitting security cooperation will weaken the fight against terrorism, which affects everyone. From their viewpoint, the only way forward is unity under the old ECOWAS framework. But the AES leaders and their people are asking a different question: what's the real cost of that unity? Is it worth your sovereignty? Is it worth letting outside powers control your politics and security? For them, real security comes from self-reliance and alliances built on shared struggle, not from a regional body they feel has failed them. To back this up, the AES has already announced plans for a 5,000-strong joint anti-terror force. This has created a direct clash of visions. Will West Africa split into two competing blocs, a coastal, ECOWAS-aligned group and a sovereign, Sahelian confederation? The recent move by the AES to put a 0.5% tax on goods from ECOWAS countries shows a trade conflict could be next, hurting citizens on both sides. The region faces a choice: either go through the difficult process of rebuilding trust and creating a new kind of partnership, or face a hard split that could create a new Cold War right inside West Africa. What we're seeing is much more than a diplomatic fight, it's a complete shift in who holds power in West Africa. The calls from ECOWAS aren't just about getting 3 members back, they're an admission that the old way of doing things is failing. For years, the story of the region was written by established blocs, often with guidance from international partners. Today, that story is being rewritten from Ouagadougou, Bamako, and Niamey. The alliance of Sahel states, born out of crisis, has become a new center of gravity. Their position is firm: Africa will no longer just ask for a seat at someone else's table, it will build its own. Captain Ibrahim Traoré and his allies represent a new generation that is demanding respect. The pressure is no longer on the AES to prove it belongs in ECOWAS. The pressure is now on ECOWAS to prove it is worthy of the new Africa that's emerging. Will the bloc find the humility to adapt and deal with the AES as an equal? Or will it hold on to the past and risk becoming irrelevant? The world is watching, but for the first time in a long time, the Sahel is leading. This might not be the end of West African unity. It could be the painful but necessary birth of a more authentic, sovereign, and powerful African future. What are your thoughts? Is the rise of the AES a win for Pan-Africanism, or a dangerous crack in the region's stability? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more analysis from an African perspective.